Greetings, kindred. I am voivodemekhet, and welcome back to our world of darkness. And today, we're going to start a very special journey into Laws of the Night for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. These are the LARP rules to how Vampire the Masquerade works according to By Night Studios and the way that they are going to be running their LARP division for 5th edition. I had the privilege of not only attending a large-scale function, but also a small game for Vampire the Masquerade LARP recently. Everybody knows that I attended the Darkness Emergent that was hosted by Night Studios, and I had a great time. I met a lot of great people, and got to be enveloped in 2 nights of playing out of this awesome book. This, by the way, is the deluxe edition. I have this because I have this. It's a nice book. It has extra art in it and things like that. But the standard pocket guide is 100% fine. There's no reason to think that you have to like rush out and upgrade your book for any reason. It's great either way. I just happen to have this one. Now, the LARP that I got to take part in this past weekend was actually hosted by Jason Herman, who's one of the authors of this book. And I had a great time. I want to point that out. Everybody was really, really nice. And I can't wait to attend next month. Also, that I had a great time, and I want to go back. Definitely, being able to play instead of storytelling all the time was a nice little change up for me. But we're going to go ahead and find something in this book that differs from tabletop, and we're going to just rip into it and see exactly what it does differently, and what you guys can expect in Laws of the Night. The clans and everything are pretty much exactly the same. There are some changes to how some disciplines are going to work, which should be obvious because some of the disciplines just aren't LARP friendly. As somebody who actually ran the tabletop game as a LARP for a little while, I can tell you right now that they were just a little dicey when it came to using some of the powers in a LARP setting. But let's go ahead and start with character generation. So I'm going to pull up a Laws of the Night character sheet, and we're just going to go ahead and build a character together. I think that's probably one of the best things to probably start with in this series. All right, here we are with a standard Laws of the Night sheet. And one of the things that I like about this sheet is that it actually gives you, and let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. It actually gives you right here, you can see the rules for how to actually build a character on the sheet. So there is a character creation cheat sheet, creation summary in the book on page 97, but for the most part you really don't need one because they're on the character sheet. So let's go ahead and build a vampire together, and I'll show you everything that happens as we go along. So first off, they want you to start with a name as always. I'm going to go ahead and throw down my character's name from the Tampa game. So my name is Tobias. Tobias. Tobias is Clan Toreador. And I didn't really do much with him on here, so let's just go ahead and start him at 13th generation. Shall we? As a Toreador, he's the kind of guy who likes to be a little flamboyant and have people around him. So we're going to go ahead and give him Osiris as his predator type, just as we would in a tabletop game. His hunting pool is going to be noted on his predator type. So let me just look that up real quick. All right. As a Osiris predator type, his hunting pool is going to be manipulation plus subterfuge. So that works with that. All right, their compulsion is fairly easy. As a Toreador, he has obsession, uh, which basically means that if something comes up to catch his eye, anything else, he's going to be 2 traits down in trying to deal with anything, which is... Okay, he's going to have 3 points in allies, so let's just go ahead and mark them down as his touchstones, because he's only going to surround people with whom he cares for. So we're going to go ahead and say, we'll say Justin, Kim, and let's go with Haley. All right, so there are his touchstones. Touchstones are pretty much going to work exactly the same way as they do in tabletop. These are your anchors. These are the people who keep you grounded in your morality. As for Chronicle Tenants, there's no way on earth you're going to fit Chronicle Tenants in this section unless you have just like, I don't know, initials for them up or something. And under touchstones also, I should be able to write convictions, and there's just no room for that on the LARP sheet. I think that if there is some kind of update to the sheet at some point, it might be a good idea to make it like on the back of the page or something like that, where you actually have a small place to write out what's important. Other than that, I suggest a personal notebook or a journal for your characters, which are always a great thing anyway. His Bane severity is going to be 1, and as for his clan Bane itself, Toreador have what I like to call aesthetic sensibilities. Basically, whenever he's in an area that he does not find aesthetically pleasing, he is going to be down a trait equal to his Bane severity. Now, looking at these, ta-da! The attributes are incredibly easy to fill out due to the fact that the rules for that are written right there. I'm going to take 1 attribute at 4, 3 attributes at 3, 4 attributes at 2, and 1 attribute at 1. All right, so I have that all straightened out. I took my 4 in manipulation due to the fact that that's his hunting, and I'm trying to make him be a good predator regardless of anything. His minimum, I took an intelligence. I gave him a 1 because, to be 100% honest, I decided to just bring a himbo into the game and play that stereotypical Toreador. He has his composure and his resolve, which are set up quite well. His stamina is good. But most of the major pointage that I had, I went ahead and I put in socials, just because I'm playing a Toreador and I wanted to make sure that socials were his big thing. Now, going down to skills, his skills, I can take 3 skills at 3, 5 at 2, and 7 at 1. So unlike the way they had it in tabletop, where you can choose, are you a specialist or a jack of all trades or just balanced, this is a simplified way of handling things, which when you're playing LARP is kind of a better way to go about things. You don't want to have all of these points everywhere and make it hard to basically do counting, because as someone who has story told for a lot of LARPs, there is always going to be someone who comes up to you on game night and needs you to count their character sheet. That is just a fact of life. No matter how long you give people the ability to send their stuff over Discord or email it to you or what, there is always going to be that person who comes up, and you're going to need to be able to just point for point that stuff and make it so that it's not agonizing. So let's go ahead and just get those down. Now, for my 3 skills in 3, I went ahead and I put 3 into subterfuge because of my character's hunting. I want him to have the best hunting possible so I can just get in and get into gameplay. I love the hunting, but the last thing that I want is somebody to be able to avoid my gaze and run off and cause masquerade issues for me. I also took a performance of 3, which I'm going to go ahead and put singing. And the reason I'm putting it into singing is because on the very first night that I was in the Tampa game, I joined a band. So I'm very happy to have that. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. And then insight I took in 3 because I need my character to be able to read people very well, because of his influencing within the courts. Now I have 5 skills at 2. Okay, so the 5 skills at 2. I took 2 points in crafts under restoration. The reason behind that is because my character is into antiques. He restores and sells antiques. That's kind of what he does for cash. And so I wanted to have that represented on his skills. He also took 2 dots in persuasion because, come on, I'm a Toreador. I wouldn't be worth my salt if I didn't have that. And then I have academics due to the fact that my character, again, is going to have a high academics due to his profession as an antiques dealer. Awareness, because I just really think that all characters should probably focus a little bit of an awareness. And then finance, also, again, to help my lifestyle as an antiquing whiz. And then I have 7 points in 1. Okay, and for my 7 skills at 1, I went ahead and took 1 in athletics. I took 1 in drive. I took 1 in streetwise because my character is going to know the area fairly well, being a Tampa native. And he has an etiquette of 1. Investigation of 1, and I took an occult of 1 because sometimes in the antique biz you might find something that's a little weird, and I thought that would be a fun thing to represent into the character. So as you can see, skills, they're not difficult, and the rules for it are presented right there above the actual skills themselves. Now under disciplines it says 1 in-clan discipline at 2, 1 in-clan discipline at 1, and then 1 in-clan or out-of-clan discipline at 1. Now, before I fill that out, let me explain this because I was confused. In tabletop, they have it so that you get a specific discipline based off of your predator type. And I love that. It's probably one of my favorite things. And storytellers out there, if you're not interconnecting with other games, or if it doesn't cause too much of a clash with other games you might be connected for, go ahead and go back and use the tabletop rules for this. There's really absolutely no reason not to. When I start my LARP up, I plan on taking a vote from the players to see what they want to do when it comes to this, because I will definitely be starting a LARP. But the reason why they did not do this, and Jason told me this, was because they do not want people to choose their predator types specifically for a discipline. Now, I think that if your character has something because of their predator type, it makes sense. And I think that if you as a player choose to play a blood leech simply because you want protean, access to protean, then you've chosen to play a character that needs to feed on other kindred, and it's going to cause problems for the game. It's going to cause drama. So I don't see a problem in that mentality of, oh, I want this because I'm playing this. They basically made it so that you can take any discipline you want regardless of your predator type, which, I mean, I probably would not have gone that way, but it didn't cause any problems. And as a person who likes to play the game as written originally, when I built my character, I pretty much just stuck with his standard clan disciplines anyway. So let's go ahead and pop into that. So as a Toreador, he should have Auspex, Celerity, and Presence. So me being the massive himbo that I am, I'm going to go ahead and take my 2 points in Presence. And I'm going to go ahead and just put 1 dot in Celerity and 1 dot in Auspex. That's what I'm going to do to make my character make sense. As a person who likes classic World of Darkness stuff, I went ahead and I took Heightened Senses. I'm not a huge fan of Sense the Unseen. I feel that when that power was invented, it really should have been an amalgam of oblivion in Auspex, making it so that the Hekata should be the ones who have that the easiest. But that's just me. Celerity-wise, I'm going to take Cat's Grace. And under Presence, I'm going to go ahead and take Awe. And for that second level, I've already played a character with both Monologue and Slicing Tongue. My Zemitzi at the Darkness Emergent event had both of those. So I'm going to go ahead and take Daunt for that, because that makes the most sense for the character at this time. Now, getting into this, our stamina plus 3 equals our health. So our stamina is 2, which means I have a health of 5. And then our willpower is our resolve plus composure. So 3 plus 2 is 5. That is identical to the way things are in tabletop. That does not change. My humanity starts at 7. 7. All right. And here, my blood potency is going to go there. And this is where you can fill in what all of your common dice pools and what your blood potency stuff is going to be. What your mend is, what your blood surge is. This is all incredibly awesome. And also above that, I want to point out that there is a section on here that talks about different situations that could come up. If your character gets blinded, distracted or staggered, frightened, helpless, grappled. Like this is all a very good thing to have on your character sheet, so nobody's like digging through books trying to figure out what exactly the penalties are for being weakened, which are you're -1 to all physical offensive pulls. Like, it's very nice to have that on the sheet. Next, we are on backgrounds, and like I said, he is going to have 3 points in allies. So that covers that. I want to have some resources. So we're going to go ahead and say 2 points in resources. And then the other 2 points, I think I'm going to go ahead and put into Haven, which allows me to have basically my a place to live, a place to rest my hat. Now, I do want to go over what benefits I get for being an Osiris really quick, though, before I fill out anything else. Okay, so as an Osiris, I get 2 points in the mask background. And I personally like to put little asterisks to show what I get for free. I also get 3 dots of Herd and Fame. I'm going to go ahead and take 1 dot in Fame. And I'm going to take the other 2 dots in Herd. This makes the most sense for me because, again, my character is going to be one of those feeding lushes. So it just makes sense. And I also get the enemy flaw at 2 points. And I get to choose basically a sphere of influence that does not like me for what I do. And I think for my sphere of influence as an enemy, I'm going to choose legal, because I've gone in directions to acquire my antiques that I should not have gone in the past. So I've always got somebody looking over my shoulder whenever I'm trying to do something that has anything to do with helping my resources. And probably my haven, depending on how things go with that. Now, one of the things that I really, really like about this is the fact that you can, in this game, buy your merits using your experience traits at character creation, or you can take them on a 1-for-1 basis with flaws. So if you have a 3-point flaw, you can take up to 3 points in merits. It's a very fun system, and it also gives the player an opportunity to dig themselves into a ditch. Now, I think I've given enough information for my character that I'm playing, which will most likely be watched by people that I'm playing with. So that's as far as I want to go. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave the merits and flaws off of my character sheet. But like I said, if you wanted to, you could take up to 10 points in flaws and take up to 10 points in merits on top of that. And the merits and flaws in this game are incredibly fun and to use and streamlined for LARP. So I think that is probably a topic for another video. Other than that, I have 20 experience traits that I can put into this character sheet. Okay, now XP expenditures, since I have 20 XP to spend on this sheet, is pretty simplistic also. It has a lot to do with like what you're buying is that times the amount that you're trying to buy. So, and let me just show you this. If I wanted to spend experience traits on if I wanted the 5th level of manipulation, it would be what I'm buying times 5. So points times 5. So I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 points in manipulation. 5 is what I'm trying to get to. So it's going to be 4 times 5, which would be 20 experience points right off the bat, right there. So if I bought my 5th point in manipulation, that'd be my 20 XP. If I wanted to buy the 4th level of charisma, it would be 3 times 4, so 12 experience. You see how that kind of goes off? Now, the only difference on that one is going to end up being your backgrounds. Your backgrounds are going to be 3 per dot. Now, a good example of this would be like my fame. If I wanted to update my fame from a 1 to a 3, it would cost me 6 points because it's 3 dots per point of backgrounds. And that also goes into like the cost of the advantages as well when it comes to that kind of thing. Now, in V5 5th edition LARP, they also have lore sheets, just like they do in tabletop. And the only, again, difference there is that instead of a 5-point lore sheet, there is a 3-point lore sheet. And they're actually pretty good. I'm kind of a fan of the way that lore sheets are done in LARP. As a storyteller, I just see it being not as confusing. They do tend to focus primarily on making your backgrounds better, depending on which lore sheet you take. And I do think that that is something that merits its own video per lore sheet, just like we do with the regular lore sheet videos for tabletop. So, aside from the 20 points, which I just don't think I'm going to get around to spending right now, that is character creation for Vampire the Masquerade Laws of the Night 5th edition. I've had a lot of fun working with this, and I am by no means a complete expert on this. I do spend my time reading it a lot, but there are so many more things to discover. I do believe that this is going to be the beginning of us, the Our World of Darkness community, digging into the mechanics and the lore of Laws of the Night for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. I hope this has been helpful to everybody out there. Oh, you know what? I can spend my XP on one thing. This is not something that I would do in a game most of the time, but I do want to show you that it is an option. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and buy down to 9th gen. And that would cost you 20 points. I do actually like how that is balanced there. You don't have to worry about people coming in with overpowered characters. And there are lots of different ways that you can run Laws of the Night with how it works and how smooth of a game that it actually is. I've gotten to partake in now 3 different games, and the Tampa game I definitely plan on going back to. If you guys are in the if you're in Florida and around the Tampa area, you should definitely look into trying to figure out the details on whether or not you want to join that amazing game. It's a lot of fun. The people who are playing are they were in character the entire night, which was just a relief to me as an ST. I've definitely been to plenty of games where they're just not in character the whole time, but that right there is character creation for LARP, for Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition. If this has been helpful to you, please drop a like, ask any questions you have down in the comments, and make sure to share this to a gamer you think might find this useful. I am voivodemekhet. This is Our World of Darkness, and I will see you next time. Good evening.